check. Can we check on that one? There we go. There we go. We're in. Yep. We should be good, Rob.
All right. How's that, everybody? Is that better? And yeah, Chuck, I was talking to myself. Nothing new there.
Testing.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Checking it. We got sound over there. And All right. Well, we'll start over. Actually, I was just mouthing everything. So, yeah. Great. Thank you, Jenny and Cody. We're back. Just a sound issue. We're going. We'll start over. Good evening. Welcome to Go Fast. Lots to talk about. Nick Jensen in the house with Bibster, Kelly Jeffries, and I. And we'll talk a lot, including about our weekend ventures and much more. And we kick it off like we always do with our Team Done Right update. What a weekend for Roberts Motorsports. Wow. Congratulations to Ken and Jeremiah, Garrett, and the whole crew. They go down to Peoria on Friday night, and Jeremiah Hurst runs second. And Shannon Babb in his heat, but comes away with the feature win and $5,000. So congratulations, Jeremiah, on that one. And then on Saturday night, they're up at the Harvest 50 at Sycamore Speedway. And Maya had that one pretty much in the bag. Also broke toward the end, but have no fear. Teammate Garrett Alberson was there, picked up the 10 grand first prize up at the Fall 50 at Sycamore. So congratulations to Roberts Motorsports. Great weekend. And they have some racing coming up. The MLRA picks back up. We'll have the Fall Nationals October 8th through 10th down at Lucas Oil Speedway, down at Wheatland. Then they'll be racing at Tri-City down at Granite City, Illinois, Pontoon Beach, whatever you want to call it, October 16th and 17th. And then back to Moberly, Missouri on October 18th. And I think they have a couple of races in between also. Other member of Team Done Right, Tyler Soppy, was off this past weekend after running part of the Super Nationals a couple weeks ago. So, hey, we welcome in everybody else. Kelly Jeffries got to travel down to Donaldson over the weekend. Bibster and Kelly and I were at East Moline last night, along with Nick Jensen. Nick, glad to have you back, buddy.
Glad to be back.
We're glad you're here. I like your fish. Is that a fish hook on your hat?
Yes, it is.
All right. And as usual, we got to eat these microphones, so we'll do that. Hey, let's talk about the weekend. Takeaways from the weekend. Obviously, great racing last night at East Moline, and had a good show down at Donaldson on Saturday night, Saturday, and races we didn't cover. Had the World Nationals at Marshalltown, the Larson Memorial up in Wisconsin, and that kind of thing. Gentlemen, your thoughts on the weekend?
I watched a little bit of Marshallstown till it was time for me to go to bed.
Right. Good field of cars. Bone Larson picks up the win at the Bob Larson Memorial up in Wisconsin. And a lot of local guys go up there, especially on the Sport Compact side. I know Jake Ben Dixon was up that way, along with some others, Nick Prohl as well. So that racked in 160 cars, I believe, at Marshalltown on both Friday and Saturday night. Last night, over 100 cars at East Moline. So I think that was my biggest takeaway, is good car count at East Moline.
That was great car count last night.
And some of the racing we saw. And how about your Team Done Right guys there, Kelly? Boy, what a weekend they had.
Good weekend. Yeah, for sure. I wish I could have seen it, man.
15 grand in 2 nights.
Yeah.
I don't believe so.
It'll probably end up somewhere down the line on
maybe on Dirt or
one
something.
of them. Yeah. So congratulations, guys. Well done. I know it's been a crazy year, but that's good stuff. 2 in a row. Keep it up.
Real good stuff. Last night, want to congratulate all of the track and season champions at East Moline. Track champions, Andy Nazworski in the late models, Eric Barnes in the modifieds, Jarrett Franzen in the sport mods, Jesse Owen in the street stocks. Let's see, Mike Zemo Jr. in the mod lights, and he almost pulled off that front row challenge.
Yeah, he did.
I thought he had it.
I think a couple more laps, I think he would have gotten him.
He might have, and I know he changed his line Padilla changed his line a little bit because he knew he was coming, no doubt about it. Josh Lane, congratulations, buddy, on your Sport Compact win. And Hobby Stocks, I'm going to leave for now.
We'll we have a special segment for that maybe later.
Well, that is still being decided, and no official announcement has been made. There was an incident with the Hobby Stocks last night in East Moline, so we'll leave that. But anyway, congratulations, and I'm looking, and I believe every single one of those guys except for Josh Lane picked up the feature win last night as well. So they put the cherry on top, as I said last night, calling the races. So, but hey, still plenty of racing coming up at East Moline. Donaldson on Friday night. So another Justin Kai Speedway.
Yeah, he's pretty impressive stuff, man. It's always come from behind too, but he gets it done. So
he picked up the drive for 5 finale down at Donaldson on Saturday night. Beat out Matt Ryan and Matt Ryan with Justin Kai ahead of him. How many times have we seen that? Tommy Elston, seen those two guys run 1-2 a lot. Tommy Elston ended up third. Andy Nazworski was fourth. Mark Bergtor fifth in the late models. Gary Webb finished eighth. So congratulations to all of them. And yes, you're right, Cody Smith. 27 Sport Compacts at East Moline last night. Also at Donaldson, Adam Burke, our buddy from Canton, Missouri, won the Sport Mod and beat out Austin Becerra. Tim Plummer from Norway, Iowa finished third, and Shane Paris, who we see a lot, ended up seventh in that feature. And on the Sport Compacts, Jacob Ash picked up that win. Drew Wise was down there and finished eighth. We give you those results because Donaldson not quite yet on my race pass, but they're supposed to be here soon. But wanted to give you those. But so more thoughts on the weekend, guys. I mean, it seems kind of weird that we're not going full throttle, 100 miles an hour, but we had 2 shows, and usually 5 or 6, but still great racing here late in the season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that track last night at East Moline was definitely something that we've been really seeing that track improve as the years gone. And last night it was a tacky track. It was definitely a horsepower track. So any of the guys that are, especially the modifieds, that still run an open motor, which I don't think we had any last night, that was their track because it was just there was it was using a lot of horsepower. We also saw the results of that. A lot of times when tracks need a lot of horsepower, gets pretty racy, gets pretty there's a lot of a little more contact, especially early on in the race. But it was a great track and a lot of fun last night. It was a little bit of a longer show, but we got it all in by the time before curfew, so that was quite impressive.
Like 10 minutes left to spare.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a couple special things. We did out of the car introductions for most of the classes last night, and then as we got closer to curfew, we had to shut that down as well. And pace truck looked good out there last night, sir.
Thanks. I heard.
Looked really good. That picture that you took looking back at the one field, that's a keeper.
Yeah.
So and for those of you that just saw the wrap for the first time, I know you've had it on the truck a couple weeks, but it looks sharp.
Yeah, thanks. It turned out well. Did a good job. Steph and Cameron did a good job.
Yep, Cam Rapp, Steph and Cameron did that. And hey, I had Andy Nazworski timed in the mid-13s last night, 13.58. And how is it taking photos when they're going that quick?
It's fun. I love taking shots like that. I mean, I can get good speeds in the background shots, and like I said, I got a really good shot of Matt Ryan right on Andy's bumper last night. I thought it was a pretty cool shot.
Was it on or under?
It was.
From my view, it looked a little almost under.
It was. The photo I took, it's right on.
Right on. Because when I filmed it, I saw that happen, and I watched. I was like, oh, and then he didn't. He got enough to say, hey, I'm here, but it wasn't enough. And I think all he really did was just shove Nazworski into the lead farther because after that, Andy was gone. He checked out. He was like, oh, okay, you guys want to do, and he pretty much checked out. So.
All right. I just saw Scott Durbin chime in and want to congratulate them also. They went to Marshalltown, it looked like they had a couple good runs Friday and Saturday. Brandon Durbin did, so congratulations to him too. A couple other things. Hey, for those of you that want, Gary Webb won his heat, finished fourth Thursday night at Marshalltown. Thanks, Mike Thorman, for that. and that was the 500th Deary Brothers race. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
and it didn't rain.
And it didn't rain. So the fourth time was the charm there. Tipton is going to have practice tomorrow and Thursday. So for those of you that want to get out there before the Fall Bash, they're going to start at 3:30. Need to get a hold of Kathy Deloy though, and it's $100 a car, and go out and get some laps. So that's tomorrow, starting at 3:30. Thursday at 3:30 to get ready for the Fall Bash in a week. And I don't know if we ever get ready for the Fall Bash.
No, it's and a lot of times it's the recovery after the Fall Bash that's even longer.
Absolutely. Well, let's go do our drivers of the week, and it doesn't have to be from our tracks; it can be from everywhere. Nick, any thoughts on what you saw this past week? I know you.
I gotta go with your boys. You know, Team Dunbar. They both had a great weekend. It's hard to pick one of them guys, but I got to go with the whole team.
It is. They put a lot of work into it, and congratulations, Bipster. Any thoughts on driver of the week?
Daniel Walters for sure. Getting to see him back in hobby stock, and not just for any of the other things that happened with that race, but I mean, I loved watching him last year at Makokata. It was always fun. Got a lot of time filming him, getting a lot of wins. So anytime I get to see him back on the track is good. And like I said, I know he took this year off, and it looks from talking to him and all the stuff you see on social media, it looks like he's coming back with, I think, a street stock next year. And kind of with the intentions of a street stock that he can also run airs if he wants to. So that's going to be kind of fun. So we're hoping to see that again. But yeah, I think last night watching him pick up the hobby stock win, definitely my driver of the week.
Yeah. Kelly, any thoughts on drivers that you've seen here or heard about, or your guys?
Well, Maya and Garrett for sure, 100%. I mean, it's been a battle, and it's been a battle for everybody this year, I guess. But yeah, it's just great seeing them come away with a win. Had some tough luck and some other things, but I don't know, man. Matt, Ryan, and Andy Nazorski, Justin, all of them. I mean, they're just always so entertaining, man. So, and they're all they just give it all, man. So all of them, it's always pleasure to watch. It's fun.
Terry, Ryan, I feel your frustration. No doubt about it. Second place, but hey, got a couple seconds over the weekend, and so I'll go with Matt Ryan. Second place at Donaldson, second place at East Moline, and finished second in the points at East Moline. So Matt Ryan is my driver of the week. So, but lots to choose from, no doubt about that. Move on to our technology portion, and I want to bring up one thing. Is we do this, and we've gotten it back onto our podcast platforms as well. And so right now we're on 7. We're on Breaker, Google Podcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Spotify, Copy RSS, and Anchor. So in case you miss it or you can't get it off of Facebook, whatever, you check it out on the podcast. It's absolutely free, and you can download it on any of those. And, Josh Riley last night, Sport Compact winner at East Moline, started 20. I think he actually ended up, he was supposed to start 26th. I think he started 22nd or 24th, Brett. We had a couple no-shows in that 27. But, Travis Denning, absolutely.
Yeah.
What a drive. And I know that cushion bit you a couple times, TD. But,
it was... a couple of those laps he had more speed, but definitely Barnes had the overall better average speed on that one, because a couple of them was like he's got him this lap and then not quite.
I think Barnes changed. He said in his interview he changed his line a little bit, and Terry Ryan reminds me that Matt got second at Marshalltown as well. So 3 runner-up places. He's got my driver of the week, Matt Ryan. So keep the comments coming. Glad you're with us here on Go Fast. Hey, we move on to technology. We told you the podcast platforms, and Brett Sievertson and I were kind of talking about it last week, and you guys can chime in even more. A couple new things we're doing. First of all, we got some new equipment, and we got some new additions to our coverage, timing and scoring, that kind of thing we're working out.
Yeah, it's like we talked about it before, and with a few of the tracks making kind of some of the hints at what they want to be doing here locally. It was kind of the right call to be making the next step up and start working on it this year, so we can really have our feet wet with it this year, so we hit the ground running in the spring, especially at some of our closer tracks. We'll have everything pretty much perfected. But yeah, we should be it's just that next step in broadcasting that we want to be able to bring the best program we can to you guys watching at home, and hope you guys enjoy it as we you'll start to see it roll out at the next few races, depending on what. And a lot of times it depends on what the track has. You know, if the track has the ability for us to do things, we can do a few more things. But it's been pretty fun to run it. Some of that new technology.
Well, we've learned a lot. We talk about this all the time, Kelly. We learned a lot, especially with sound and things along that line.
Yeah, just every day.
I know
Every
a
day.
couple tracks you and I have been, we basically have rewired the sound
You know,
system.
and I noticed too. I mean, I was in Florida last week, and then I come back, and then I went to Donaldson, and it's been a week or so since we've done anything. The weekend got rained out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been a minute, and I'm like getting my gear out, and I'm like, this feels weird.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm
I'm like,
the same way.
because we know what we run into sometimes, right? I mean,
Yeah.
even tonight we had a little audio issue. I mean,
Yeah.
it just happens, and that's where you just got to test, and then even still, sometimes when you push that go button, it's like, there's one. So it was a different feeling coming back, but yeah, it's gonna once we get it all figured out, we're gonna be able to design our own graphics and stuff like that, and you know, be able to hopefully do some more wired second and third cameras because they'll be wired. We won't have to worry about the wireless part because the wireless is a pain.
Yeah. I mean, it's great when it works, but
yeah.
so when it works.
And it's just inconsistent.
Yeah.
So it's like, and there's a learning curve, and you know we're always going to be adding more stuff. And I mean we've added a couple soundboards too to a couple of these jobs that we've had to do. So good thing we had an extra soundboard because we just don't know what we're going to run into. And that's the thing is every track is different, right? Every track has their little things. So that's why you got to keep our notes straight and make sure that we go from one to the next.
Well, we've been 19 different venues and I think 19 different sounds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's different,
Sound
you know.
setups.
And some venues we roll in, they race weekly, so they're kind of an idea. Some tracks we've gone to, they're like, oh, we race here twice a year, and so it's been sitting in this shed for 6 months in the rain and the whatever, and you go in there and you're like, oh, well, I said hello to a raccoon when I opened this up, and hopefully I can get this thing wired in. So, yeah, it's something that, you know, as this last, you know, I think about some of our early races this year to what we were doing sound-wise and what we thought was working, or, you know, we're trying to do to what we're doing now, and I'm like, wow, we actually it's been about, you know, feels like it's been 5 years of progression over the summer, and it's what we kind of had to do. You know, we had to kind of fast track ourselves to level up to the ability to bring on the best show for you guys.
How did it feel dusting the cameras off after 3 weeks?
It was nice. I was happy to be back at the track, you know, seeing everybody, and plus I had a really good night. I had a nice helper last night at the photo table, and she did a fantastic job, and I went home happy. And
Great, and that's well, we're happy when we get to the track, and if we go home happy, we're in good shape.
That's
I
it,
guess. So last night, what were some of your thoughts on the races, seeing them from the infield?
you know, every single class was great racing. The track was 100% top notch. The hobby stocks, that was an interesting feature. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yep, that's watch the replay, folks. It's available
Yeah.
on Dunride.tv with our monthly video.
I was excited for the amount of compact cars that we had. I was excited when that feature came out because I knew it was going to be good. And
yeah, that was.
It was, and saw the cushion get a little character over there in turns 1 and 2 in the features, and saw some of the guys having to adjust their driving style. But boy, again, my driver of the week, Matt Ryan, he was just a rocket in that heat race. I haven't seen anybody turn.
Yeah, he checked out.
He did. He checked out, and he diamond that turn 1. I haven't seen anybody do that since Shannon Babb was there many years ago, and Gary Webb back in his UMP days. So that was amazing the way that he drove that track in that heat race.
I was happy to see Josh Lane win the Spark Compact Championship. My name is on Josh's car, and I was happy to see that.
Well, just what he's gone through, and I mean, literally, if you look, and at least 4 of those cars every week are his. He's got something to do between him and the Stockdales. They have 4 to 6 cars, and it's funny watching them because they just bring them from Josh's shop. They don't put them on trailers or nothing. Drive them over to the racetrack, and so. And then they park them all together in the pit area. So I echo that. Congratulations to Josh Lane on that, on his Chip, and just congratulations on the Petersons and Jenny. I know you watch us all the time, and Corey and Todd and the rest of the Peterson team. What a great job that they have done all year, and you're in a class operation when Jenny comes up at the end of the night and apologizes because they sold out of food.
yeah, and that's something that just it was great to see because with being fan appreciation, we had a really good crowd. I know
We did.
I was over I'd wandered over to the kart track in the afternoon, and because I smelled racing, and I looked over and it was about 4:30, and I'm like, what time we start? We start at 5, and I'm like, don't worry, give it about 5:15, 5. Like we're starting earlier tonight than we normally do. I said, don't you worry. And by the time I got up to my camera and I looked down, we had a line of people waiting to get in. And with the gates were open, it was a line of people. They were constantly getting them in there. So great crowd, great. It's been a fun year to be involved in the bull ring, and we're definitely excited for what the bull ring's going to bring in 2021. As I know the plans are already started.
Yeah, I've already started coming up with some ideas myself for my photo table next year, and I'm excited for next year.
Yeah, a lot of fans don't realize what it takes to put on an event like that. I know we've talked about it many times before. And Josh Riley chimes in that he actually had 2 wins over the weekend, not only coming 24th to the win last night, but he also won at Davenport on Friday night. So, Josh, congratulations to you. And Scott Durbin on the cushion. Yeah, they're gonna keep working on that cushion. I can guarantee you. We have a new feature we're gonna start. And we're going to call it the loose lug nut of the week, but we may not do it every week. But whenever the
need arises.
Yeah. And we love you too, Jenny Smith. Thank you very much. And the loose lug nut of the week, something, and we're going to try to take it from beyond, but sometimes it may happen at one of the tracks we cover, and just kind of a weird, stupid maybe thing that happens. And Bipster and I were talking last night. We kind of had one racked down, we had a lockdown, and it happened at Marshalltown, and I think it was Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Janae Gustin had taken out Brayton Carter, I believe, is who she spun out, and then tempers flared, and she got out of the car and went after one of the officials.
Yeah. And that's obviously getting out of the car on a racetrack is a no-no unless your car is on fire. Mm-hmm. So there's your first no-no. And the problem was, and you feel for the whole, it's because, and then in a day and time like this, and we were talking about it, 10 years ago, if you had done something dumb on a track and made a fool of yourself, the people that were watching saw it, the other racers saw it. There might be some stories, but not the entire world saw it. And in a day like, in times like this where it's pay-per-view and it's getting put out there, believe me, as a pay-per-view company, when there's something that's like that on the track, you're putting that on your social media because that's definitely built, people are going to start finding your brand from that, depending on the situation. But, and it's just one of those, you see that and you're like, guarantee, as soon as the adrenaline wore down, you realize what happened. But then it was just a bad situation that made worse because once after got out of the car, hit an official, they got back in the car and finished the race, which I'm not an official, I'm a camera guy or, an operator, but I don't know how that works. But I'm assuming the track was at a point of what is going on. But definitely would be our nomination for loose lug nut of the week.
Well, and just how quickly it spreads, Kelly, I was out of the area completely, wasn't paying attention to it. I was down in Branson, Missouri. I get back to my hotel room and just check my Facebook. Not only was it only about 2 hours after it happened, it was already on Facebook, but I got it from a guy that happened to share it and somebody else did and he was in Colorado and he got it on Facebook from Marshalltown, Iowa. It's just crazy how quick that stuff spreads in a hurry.
Yeah, it's crazy for sure.
And I see Terry Ryan said that she had put up a big apology, and that's obviously what you have to do. And I'm like, and you feel like I said, the adrenaline was going. At the time you're probably like, why did I do that? But it's one of those times when now you have to, you kind of have to live with that and live with the consequences of what that's going to look like. When you go when a potential, and this is something like as someone involved with sponsors of race cars, if you're the race car driver, do something like that, your sponsors see that and like, is that someone I want my name on? You know, you got to look at that in today's time. You know, in today's market, you know, there's not a lot of financial dollars out there, and you know, as for a racetrack, they're like, we're looking at it where as a promoter is going out trying to find sponsors, and they're like, hey, isn't your track kind of known for this? You know, so it's kind of a thing that you get mad and you might do something like that, but you have to then be able to, and it's good to see that, you know, kind of take the brunt of the, hey, this was stupid, this was dumb, and you know, kind of take your lashings and take your licks of what's going to come, you know, what penalties and what kind of fines are going to be afterwards, and hopefully learn from it and not happen again.
Well, the whole thing on that was, you know, you take all the factors in, just as we say, like me sitting in Branson, Missouri, and I'm looking at it. So I get on my race pass real quick. She was not disqualified as far as I know, and that kind of thing. And so what were the thoughts? And I'm not saying bad or good, but what were the thoughts of the racetrack? You know, what were her thoughts and that kind of thing. And then we hear other things that factored in. So there may have been more than one factor. And it wasn't all Janae Gustin, but anyway, she was on Facebook today with an apology, and I'd like to hear the explanation from Marshalltown Speedway as well. But what are you going to do? We'll see.
There was a lot of people questioning, like, how come she did not get DQ'd or kicked out for the rest of the night?
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about, you know. And it's as a promoter, and maybe it's something that, you know, as a promoter, you're not usually thinking like, hey, if a driver gets out and starts to melee someone, like, we should have someone go take the steering wheel off the car, because all these cars have detachable steering wheels. No one's steering wheel stays in there. You know, you go over and nicely just take the steering wheel away. Guess what? No longer can drive that car. Well, they could try and drive it. We also watched Dale Earnhardt Jr. do that. That was that. I can't remember what track that was. Came back from a pit and he went like this. The steering wheel came off and he did this for half a turn, then put it back on. So I mean, technically they could, but it would at least be a sign of like, you're done for the night. We're taking your steering wheel, tow truck hooked up to it. Let's get him out of here. But yes, definitely, and it's what you see. We're late in the season. You know, sometimes what shows now has maybe been developing for a month or so, where it's, you know, you're frustrated, you miss the setup that night, your tempers flare, you do something dumb, and then especially when, you know, and we've seen it, where you do something dumb, the whole crowd then hates you. You know, like you get out of your car, you're like, well, time to go eat. You know, I have to go eat crow now, but
right. Brian Brunchini, our buddy Brian Brunchini, chimes in and says 3 sides to every story. Ain't that the truth? No doubt about it.
Yeah. At least
3 sides. Mitch Curran's going to have the old street stock out at the Governor's Cup at Davenport this weekend, and well, hopefully you bring it over to East Moline on Sunday for the Marks Memorial. I know you've raced that car there before, Mitch. So looking forward to seeing you. I haven't seen you hardly all racing season. Saw him at Davenport one night.
We pitted next to him at Maquoketa twice. The 2 times I was up at Maquoketa, we were pitted next to him.
Good. Well, another nominee, and we're not going to pick a winner, but another nominee for the Loose Lug Nut of the Week obviously had to happen last night at the Bull Ring.
Which incident, though?
Which incident?
I'll stick with the hobby stock, but the hobby stock deal. And again, congratulations to Daniel Waters. Drove a heck of a race and in a big battle with Randy Lamar there at the beginning. And then again, 3 sides to every story, but things went awry, and we'll leave it at there. If you want to see, it, just go on to Dunright.tv and you can get the replay.
Yeah, you can kind of make your own, come up with your own conclusion, because that's kind of how it's going to kind of work. And like I said, nothing officially yet on the decisions, but as soon as we know, you'll see it, because obviously,
right,
social media, someone will say what they think about it.
Our buddy Brett Severson says they did finally DQ Janae Gustin later that night. So, not sure. Dante Kelly, thanks for the kind words. Says, you guys are my favorite. Thanks for everything you guys do for the races. And thank you for, we couldn't do it without you. And Mitch, congratulations, 4th in points at Maquoketa this year. And some great racing up that way. As we continue to roll on, you know, we got this weekend coming up. And obviously, it's specials galore. I can't even keep track of all of them without writing them down. But we're going to be down in Burlington. Looking forward to the sprint on Saturday night. The Fall Hall 360s are going to be down there. And we've seen a lot. And Kelly's seen more than we have. But we've seen a lot of sprint car races down in Burlington this year. And they find that track attractive, don't they?
Yeah, I mean that's a good track, and yeah, I like it down there. I've been going down there all year, so kind of see it's sad to see the days dwindling, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was a nice little trip, Donaldson, and then Burlington, and come back. The drive from Burlington to Dubuque wasn't fun, but whatever, you know, it's all
Those
good.
are the couple of tracks I have not been to yet.
They're fun. They're really fun. I'd never been to either of those tracks until this year, and they're definitely really nice tracks. You know, when at 34 Speedway, when it says on the back wall a premier place to race, and I think that's true. You know, really nice facilities.
For sure.
Nice. It's in a part of town that they don't have to worry about a curfew at all because there's nothing around there. I mean, it's an industrial area, which
and they do a good job. The shows are run well.
Yep. Still very
you know, yeah, and a lot of them are connected down there. Donaldson, you know, Donaldson and a lot of the same people, but they do a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Brad and Jesse down there at 34 Raceway. Our hats off to you. And yeah, 2 more races down there. We have the Fall Hall this Saturday, and then I think we're down there October 17th for 410 wing sprints. So that'll be a lot of fun on October 17th. And then we're back at the Bull Ring this coming Sunday, and third time's a charm. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Ron Marks Memorial, $2,101.01 to win the street stock feature. Of course, Ron Marks was number 01, so that's where all the 01s come in.
I was very disappointed when we got rained out. When I got a big list together of what street stocks were coming, and there were some good names that were planning on coming. And so, if you were planning on coming the first time, please come to again.
Yeah.
And I think there are quite a few that are coming, and I know Zach Zuberbeer has it on his schedule, and Kyle Anderson will be down in Kevin Kervin's car, as far as I know. So we'll have a couple hot shoes, and of course Kyle from Crown Point, Indiana. So looking forward to that, and a pick. Wow, I don't know if I can even come up with a pick right now for that. There's just so many good cars that are
Yes,
coming, Nick.
yeah, it'd be a lot of good cars. Zach's gonna be a top pick to choose.
Well, you know, Jeff Struck will probably be in the house.
Yeah.
Joe Bonney.
Yep.
Jesse Owen, boy,
Yeah.
Jesse's been on a roll.
he's been on a roll and had a great night last night to wrap up his championship. And then you look right down the line. Craig Hughes from Ottawa was there last night with a final test. And he always seems to run well. And we get the guys from Sycamore and Kankakee and Fairbury, and IMCA stock cars are also legal. They're able to throw a 4-barrel on there and run, and so we'll see. But yeah, congratulations. Let's see. Oh, Terry Matley flipped his jalopy 4 times at Davenport Friday night. So yeah, Mike, we agree. We're glad he's okay. Terry also on the fair board over at Rock Island County Fairgrounds, and so a big help to the Peterson family over there. Now, also with the street stocks on Sunday, they're gonna run the Nostalgic Stock Car Racing Club will be there. Sport Mods Modifieds, Mod Lights, $750 to win. It'll still be their second biggest payday of the year after the $1,000 to win down at Peoria, which John Padilla won. And then Sport Compacts, $1,000 to win this coming Sunday. We had 27 on Sunday night. Can you imagine how many we can,
Yeah, how early we starting this race on Sunday? 2 o'clock or something? It's normal time.
hot laps at 5. Well, we're running 6 classes. I
Yeah.
know that.
Oh yeah. Right, we're rolling on 6. That shouldn't be too bad.
But the Ron Marks Memorial, I don't believe we've had. No, take it back. We've had 1 repeat winner. I believe Rob Henry's won it twice. Other than that, 5 other different winners, and including Joe Bonney, we've seen, and Jeff Struck has won it as well. So. Looking forward to the Ron Marks Memorial coming up on Sunday, plus everything else that's going on. So we got a doubleheader weekend on Dunright.tv as well. What else is going on racing wise?
Can I say how excited I am for the 80s night at the Fall Bash this year with all the throwback raps? So if you guys haven't been
That's
following,
gonna be super
I'm
cool.
so excited. This
that's
is
gonna
like
be cool.
the greatest. I mean, the Fall Bash is a fun time anyway. But so they kind of started it off, and Timmy Kurt and Ryan, they were doing. They did some throwback raps earlier in the year, and they kind of were pretty popular. They did a Hooters car, and they did a Skull
Harry Gant.
Gant car, and the Hooters was like the Alan Kowinki.
Right.
And so then it got pretty popular. Everyone seemed to like them. Well, then they kind of started thinking about, well, what if we did this for the fall bash. They were going to bring those they're going to put those bodies on for the fall bash, and then Travis Denning Motorsports threw in $2,000 to if you win with a throwback wrap on. So that brought everybody out. So I think they're up to, I can't remember how many cars now they've had. I know the Tide car's already done. I know Bryce Garnhart's going to do the Wagner Jeans Dale Earnhardt Sr. There's going to be, I think Jaden Fryer is doing another, doing like the black Dale Earnhardt.
Dan Hahn.
Is that
Dan Hahn's doing
it? Okay, I couldn't remember because I've been trying to see who's all doing throwback wraps. But on, I think it's Friday night is when they're doing. It's Friday night they're doing the race now, right? Not Saturday. Are they doing it on Saturday? The wrap. I know that they were doing the mullet contest on on Friday night, but Friday night's the '80s night. But they're gonna end up doing. That's with 300 to win as the fan favorite. They're gonna bring them all out in the front stretch, and then they're gonna, if you win with throwback wrap, and I think it must be Saturday. 'Cause that's the big 5,000 to win. It's an extra $2,000 to win. So. It's been really fun to kind of watch that, and like I was talking about, I hope that some of these drivers realize that, hey, if I put my sponsors and kind of incorporate the same color scheme, it's kind of instantly makes you a fan favorite when you're at the track because it's kind of something that it looks different than the other. There's kind of a theme with most wraps, and that's something we just haven't seen very much. So I'm excited about that.
It'll be a great weekend all over. I saw somebody with the old Tide number 17.
Yeah.
Out also, and I thought there was supposed to be a guessing game going
there
on.
There has been, but they've been already answering them. So if you go on, I think Timmy Kern's got it on his personal page, but it'll start off and it'll just be the picture of the wrap, and then you have to guess the driver. And then once the driver's been guessed, then he'll put a picture up, so it's easier to kind of scroll through and see. But it's like 10 or 15 now that are going to be involved in that. So I'm excited. They're going to do a dash for cash at the end of it, and they're going to allow anybody in sport mods that have that do the wrap to also race that. So if you're going to be in those classes, it's only about a week away, but there still might be time to decide if to do some kind of a throwback wrap. Maybe a Talladega Nights one. I'd like to see the Wonder Bread car or the Tiger.
A week.
Yeah, I hated that movie.
It's a little bit over a week.
Yeah, it's a little.
Well, let's not push it.
It'll be here before you know it. Let's put it that way. Hey, some other action coming up. The SLMR back in town. The Hooker Trucking East Series, Holland with Hooker Trucking East Series back in town for the Governor's Cup on Saturday. That will be one of Bob Wagner's show over at the Davenport Speedway. And I tell you what, when SLMR was here before, fantastic shows both nights over there, and we've seen more of the SLMR this year than we've had in the past.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of helped when they, with them buying the Deary series and kind of splitting the East and the West SLMRA and really kind of having some fun there. I mean, we got to see them at the Yankee where they can combine both sanctioning or both halves together for the weekend. And so, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. They always put on a good show, always a good car count, and there's nothing better than getting to see pretty much open late. They're still not fully open late models, but pretty much pretty much super late models out there, and always getting good car counts. We'll be excited about that.
Yeah, well, and I got to go with Spencer Dirks on that. He has been so close with the late model and has been dominant in the modified, fairly dominant in the modified, that I think he's going to have it all put together for Saturday night. So Spencer Dirks is my pick for the Governor's Cup win on Saturday. But those Nebraska guys, Papa Scholl, and he's racked off 3 wins in a row at one point, and I think he leads both series. So.
Yeah. And that's pretty wild when it's like we have 2 different point funds, the same guys in the same, got on top of both points. So that should be a good weekend. That'll be Saturday night.
Right, and that'll be the week before the SLMR wraps up their season. They'll have their championship weekend the next week. The West Series is going to be down at, I believe, Lakeside Speedway in Kansas City, and the East Series comes over here to Moberly, Missouri, at the Randolph County Speedway. So, and I know a lot of our guys from around here will be taking part in that as well, and are up there in the points on the East Series. And hopefully one of our local guys will bring it home on Saturday for the Governor's Cup. I believe that's $5,000 to win on Saturday night at Davenport.
And Justin Kai, he's gonna be a tough one to beat too.
That's true. He's been pretty successful there with his late model, so he's definitely going to be knowing the track. Be different though because he won't be as close with the guy working the track as he's been all summer long. But
Good
This should be
point.
a good race.
Yeah, and he's also struggled a little bit on the SLMR side
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
true.
Most of his success.
I've seen him do that at other tracks.
Oh yeah, I would say he doesn't have to know the track.
Yeah,
to be
no,
very
I've
good.
seen that happen. That's happened several times. So
He does have a victory. I think he won at Mason City. Justin Kai did on the SLMR. Otherwise, we saw him struggle at Farley at the Yankee and had a couple halfway decent runs down at Davenport and was so over at East Moline that big weekend that SLMR was here. But hey, we're pulling for you, Justin. Hopefully you can put it together as well. As long as you finish second behind Spencer Dirks, so I look good next Monday.
That's true. That is true.
You know what? One of the classes I've been impressed with this year because they were close to being shut off. They've been turned off at one track, and I know Jeff Hall's done a great job getting them going down at Peoria a little bit. And East Moline, they've had a consistent number all year over at the Bull Ring. That's the Mod Lights.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Mod Lights have put on just a fantastic show all year long.
Yeah, I think we were talking last night after the races at the pit shack, and they were saying the mod lights are about a second slower than the late models in lap time. I mean, that's how fast they're which is about the same speed as a modified. And there's a whole lot less car there to be going that fast, and be throwing in the corners they are. It's been really impressive. I know a couple of years ago, like you said, it was hard to get 8 or 9 of those to be together and put on a good race. And we've had over 15 cars every single week.
Yeah.
So it's been a fun class. Been able to really put a lot of cars on the track because on the mod lights it's nice to see a big full amount of cars on there because they are about half.
they're
the
regular
size.
at East Moline.
Yep, they're regular.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I love watching the mod lights. When I first started seeing them at East Moline, I've seen the same. Like, these things are cool. And then like the car count started slowly dying down. There, they were getting like maybe 5 to 7 cars every single week. And then this year it started back up, and like you said, they're getting almost 15 to 20 cars every single week.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been one of their bigger classes every week, other than your sport compacts. So it seems like we can have like 1,000 of on a weekly basis. But yeah, it's been fun to watch those. I know that it's good to see them back up in the area. And when a class gets big like that, there's a lot more people that are seeing. Well, I want to try that out. And Mod Lights is a class that you can get into. Nothing's affordable in racing, but it's a lot easier to get into that class than it is necessarily going out and buying a full-blown late model. And you don't have to have as big of a tow rig because you can put it on like a utility trailer. So it's been fun to watch that class develop and grow, and hopefully they come back just as strong next year.
Well, I also like it that they're affiliated, and I try to go over this at least once a night of racing at the Bull Ring while I'm announcing. But they're affiliated with Mod Light Stars and the Stars series, and so they're also going after national points as well as local points. And run by the Stars rules. So I think that was an issue in the past as well, is that they were running independently. And there was some technical issues and some rules issues, but now they're under the full blown umbrella of the Star Series.
It makes it nice too because you'll get those out of towners that are trying to run for national points that are looking for a place to race, and they know that they can come over here and still be getting national points, not just local track points.
Brian, bring it down, buddy. Yeah, they let you run before. Brian Bruncheen says maybe we should ask. They'll let Chase Bruncheen run for that $750 on Sunday, and they let you come down and run before, and just get with Padilla or somebody and find out. But yeah, we love
come
to
on
have you
down.
There. Okay, Mark Clay says Mitch Way was driving the jalopy. I'm guessing that's what he means. Mitch Way was driving it, which I believe. I know Matt Lee has driven that car in the past as well, but Mitch Way driving the. Probably the 00 jalopy. I wasn't there, but I'm guessing that's the one that flipped at Davenport on Friday night. And then as we take a look at the Mod Lights, I know they're popular. Also, they run Marshalltown and Boone, and then you get up north and you have the Micro Mods and they run at Vinton and Independence. I know up at West Union and that kind of thing. So and then you get them all together at the Fall Bash.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what makes it fun. I remember last year trying to remember which ones were mini mods and micro mod lights, and it was basically just go by tire size, and then remembering which one it was, and so I'd be calling them like micro. I think I would screw it up and say it the wrong way, but yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's interesting how close those cars are. I mean, it's different there engine wise and chassis wise, but speed, how close they are together once they're out all on the track together.
Yeah, and Mike Thornton, you can't always believe an announcer. we'll make up stuff on the fly. But last night, once again, we go from East Moline. Eric Barnes picks up the modified championship, beat his brother Brandon Durbin in by 17 points, I think. And again, Eric Barnes starts out front, leads the entire way.
Yeah, yeah, he started out and just stayed out of the traffic. I know he said in his post race interview he just didn't want to try and work the way through the field, which that's a tough, especially those races. That's a tough field to work through, and with as close as he was in points with his brother, it's one of those. Yeah, you probably could make it. I know that's why Zemo was like, "I'll do it," because he was far enough ahead. That's like, I just gotta finish the race. Let's put on a show, and he just about did. But I know Barnes was like, I just wanted to wrap up. I know Franzen was the same way. I just want to wrap the championship up, and I don't blame you. And that's why they like to throw it out there as a teaser. And kudos to Chance Houston for taking the front row challenge in the sport mods. And again, he was doing a pretty good run. And got caught up in a little bit of traffic. But it was another one that he was really trying, and that was he got caught up in a wreck. We thought he was all done for the night. They were about to go green, and here comes his crew pushing him back out on the racetrack.
Crowd went nuts. The crowd went nuts.
And I was like, they're so mad at those guys because they're not supposed to. I mean, there's like 4 guys pushing this car trying to pop start it on the racetrack about to go live. But just way to battle back, and that was a lot of fun to see. And that's what I said. I mean, the crowd last night, they were just into the whole. I mean, and I know it's hard to say this, but I mean, they were fired up to be there, and they were excited about every race, and they were, and that's a lot of fun to be there in that atmosphere, instead of just sometimes you go to a race and it's like, Rob, as you announce, you'd be like, who's fans of this? And you hear like one guy in the back, yeah, so it's kind of like, come on, people, like we're having some fun here. But it just seemed like that crowd last night, they were just on fire, and it was a blast to be just in there and excited about it.
Only chance he ended up coming back and finishing, I think 5th in the feature.
Yep, he did. He went to the back twice in that race and came back and finished and finished 5th. Well, Mike Thorman, I don't announce all of the races.
Eric Barnes, he even had a good, decent run up at Marshalltown. Yeah. And him leaving with 2 heat race wins.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah, the Durbins and the Barnes both ran well up in Marshalltown over the weekend. And then, our other classes, it was sad to see such a small field of late models, but hey, hats off. I don't know who checked in BJ Jackson last night as the 10th late model, but anyway, everybody got their points. They got their full points last night.
Yeah, I was talking to my coworker Kelly Pesca about that today, and he goes, I don't know who did, but that put us in 2 heats, and he goes, I guess it worked out because he had a really good heat race too. He was second there to Zworski in his heat, and so it was good to see him back. It's also funny now that I realized I forgot we have a dirt track race at work, so I was in the scrap bed today. There's a race car radiator and a late model aluminum tire that's all bent up, and I'm like, Kelly, this is yours. I might take this rim. But yeah.
And again, I know a lot of talk, especially around Eastern Iowa, Western Illinois, what to do with the late models, and you know what, I haven't heard. I really haven't heard from the late model teams themselves what they would like to see done. You always hear the bench racers and the track promoters and track employees and all that. Well, I ought to do this, I ought to do that, but actually you don't hear the promoters. You mostly hear people like us that go there and have fun, but then what are you going to do? You have 10 cars or 12 cars or 5,000 to win race or 2,000 to win race at Donaldson with a possible 5,000 to win for 12 drivers, and they get 21 cars, and so maybe it's just the time of the year also.
Yeah, it might be with Super Nationals are done. A lot of times people are kind of winding down. Their seasons are starting to wind down. They're getting ready for a few big fall specials, and then kind of wrap the thing up for the year. And I think it'll be interesting because again, as we say, we haven't heard about the race car drivers. You think that as if the rule changes kind of keep going the way they are, and they're trying to bring that class to a little bit more of an accessibility, maybe we'll see some more modified guys making that jump up. But it's hard to say. I mean, maybe some of the guys that they run pretty good, but they're not in that top of the modified, and they know that the competition is nuts in the modified class. So they think, well, hey, I could be making more shows if I go up a class. I know Brett Silverson talks about the best. If you want to make money racing, go get yourself a late model and just try and finish, because you're gonna getting the money for finishing is gonna be better than the modified money for not making the feature. So there's that statement. So it's interesting to see what's gonna happen, but it does look too like that modified chassis is really taking off in not just IMCA but all the other races. You see a lot of big, if you go look out east, the big block modifieds. There's a lot of big races out there, and you see it with the UMP. So you just don't know what the next 5 years looks like.
Well, they're going both ways. Travis Denning has his modified for sale, and he's going full late model racing next year. And I would imagine he did that a couple of years ago too. Kind of stepped back from the modified and raced his late model up at Sycamore and things along that line. And he's had some good runs with that late model.
I still remember Travis when he first started racing. He first started on his 3-stock years ago. I think it was a green street stock back at Bureau County Speedway years ago. And that's so cool. I think it's great that he's still running today.
Yeah. Britt Severson says, I was told he was coming and his pit pass was paid for. And I get it because I've seen that done at other tracks. Somebody will check out that $30 just so they make sure they get the full points. Because if you have less than 10 cars on an IMCA class, you don't get the full points. Mm-hmm. And so with BJ's entry, then that made 10 late models last night.
I knew there was another track that may have had sport mods come out and do a couple laps with modifieds with modified drivers in them to make sure that they had enough cars to get a full points night.
Oh yeah, Makoka did that.
Yeah,
yep. Makoka did that all, and whatever it takes, I'm a whatever it takes type of guy. So if that's what needs to happen and the other competitors are willing to do that, go for it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, just make it work so that way the guys, so that way it also keeps them coming back, because if you're not going to get full points, you're going to try and find another track, right? You think you can get full points, so it's kind of a win-win for everybody in that regard.
Well, also the IMCA points are normally over by this time, and they extended it, so we're racing all the way through next weekend.
Yeah. There's some close battles there for how that's all going to line out.
Don't say that too loud, Bipster.
I know.
Oh. Well, actually, I'm the one that blabbed Makoka. It wasn't him, but
I didn't say. I didn't say what track. It was on Facebook. How could you not say? We all saw the picture of a mulleted Ryan climbing into an M&M fire suit. We all knew what was happening. But yeah.
Excellent. Well, we're hitting the final lap of this edition of Go Fast. Can't believe we've done this, Kelly Jeffries, 25 times now. We've done the Go Fast show.
Wow. Well, I've missed a few of them, so good job. That's awesome.
Well, we've all missed a few, but it started last week. I think it was the last Monday in January we started this last year, and
like 5 years ago.
It does seem like it was 5 years ago. But it's a lot of fun talking racing on Monday and having everybody tuned in, and we're glad that you did. Coming up this week, schedule wise, as far as I know, somebody's gonna have to help me, but I know can't think of anything going on Friday night.
I can.
I think we're going to a football game.
Yeah, I think we're doing a football game.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Friday night we're going to be at a football game. Saturday night we'll be at Burlington for the Fall Hall Sprints. Also the Governor's Cup race going on at Davenport with the SLMR. Sunday right back to the Bull Ring for the Ron Marks Memorial, along with Mod Lights and Sport Compact Special. 3 other classes, I believe, Nostalgic, Stock Car Racing Club, Modifieds, and Sport Mods all running.
Should be a fun night. And big money in three of the classes. So it's going to be should be some really good car counts. So definitely going to be worth the show. If you're in the area, come out and check it out and hang out with us. If you're not, check it out on dunright.tv and we'll bring you the whole show.
And wanted to also add that the Bull Ring has added a race on October 4th. They were going to be dark that night, kind of because of the fall bash and all that, but they've decided to go with a UMP versus IMCA type format.
Yeah,
so we will be racing at the Bull Ring on October 4th. And then on October 11th, we get Dunright and Dish TV back involved, and Tricksters and Cheaters night at the Bull Ring on October 11th. So that'll be a lot of fun as well. So last thoughts, gentlemen.
I think don't sleep on racing right now because we only have about a month and a half where there's going to be, and it's mostly all specials. But if now's the time to go check out kind of that last race before the winter, because you're going to find yourself in the middle of December going, man, I wish I was at a racetrack right now. Which there's a way to do that, but so now is the time to try and get out to the track if you can make it. If you can't, we love having you watch on DoneRight.tv, but definitely season's not over yet. But we kind of can see the finish line, so now is the time to check out racing because again, once it gets winter and cold up here, you're going to be you can still watch all the replays, but you're going to want to watch some racing. So now is definitely the time.
I got Jensen Racing Photos Photo of the Year contest is going to be starting up here pretty soon. What I do is I'll go through all my photos throughout the year, and I'll pick certain photos. I'll post them all over Facebook, and I'll get the contest go for like a week, and whatever photo gets the most likes, that driver will win a big free poster from me.
Ooh, exciting! So when's that start up?
At the end of the race season.
Okay, so that'll be for October 12th then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. Well, we're glad that you joined us. Thanks, and for Kelly Jeffries and Kyle Jackson, Nick Jensen, I'm Rob Hinckley. Check the flags out on this episode of Go Fast. Don't forget, if you missed it on Facebook, it is on YouTube. But if you're driving in the car, you can check it out on Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Copy RSS, or Anchor. So check it out there. And God bless everyone, and we'll talk to you next Monday.